Peninsula in just 2 to 3 passes. CAS 500-4 will support crop monitoring, agricultural land analysis, and forest resource management, helping to advance the Republic of Korea's agriculture, forestry, and disaster response systems.
And now back to the countdown. The weather on the central coast of California is currently looking green, and the range is ready to support. If needed, though, there is a backup launch opportunity tomorrow during the same window.
The Falcon 9 rocket supporting today's mission is a 2-stage rocket designed for the reliable and safe transportation of satellites, cargo, and people. Starting from the very top of the rocket, we have the payload fairing. The fairing is a protective shell that shields the payload from aerodynamic heating until the vehicle is safely outside of Earth's atmosphere. The shape of the fairing contributes to Falcon 9's overall efficiency, helping to reduce drag during flight.
And once in space, the two fairing halves will separate and fall back to the Earth, where they will be retrieved by a recovery vessel to be refurbished and reused on future flights. Both halves of the fairing today are flight proven, with one side flying for its 35th time and the other for its 19th.
And right below the fairing is Falcon 9's second stage, which features a single Merlin vacuum or MVAC engine. And below the second stage is the black carbon fiber interstage, and inside of that is where the MVAC engine is located. And below that we have the first stage, or the booster, which will be fully loaded with about 1 million pounds of liquid oxygen and RP-1 rocket-grade kerosene. The first stage makes up the bottom 2/3 of the vehicle and has 9 Merlin M1D engines at the bottom, which generate more than 1.7 million pounds of thrust.
The booster supporting today's mission will be making its 11th flight. It previously launched Sentinel-6B, Twilight, NROL-172, and 7 Starlink missions. About 2.5 minutes into flight, the first stage will separate and make its way back to Earth. Today, the booster is headed to the drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is currently stationed in the Pacific Ocean. With just about 5 minutes to go, everything is looking on track for launch today.
Now coming up next, the support structure next to the vehicle, known as the strongback or the transporter erector, will begin to retract. And in preparation for retraction, the clamps around the second stage will open, and then the strongback will begin to recline away from the vehicle. And at this point, we're just a few seconds away from starting to see those clamp arms opening around the second stage on our vehicle stack.
Strongback retract.
And those clamps help stabilize the second stage during fueling and prevent movement in high winds. And then once they're open, the rocket will be fully free at the top.
So you can start to see those arms coming open now. It takes about 15 seconds for them to fully open, but once they are out of the way, the strongback will recline away from the vehicle to give it room for liftoff. So in just a moment here, you'll see the strongback start to recline, and you can see it go ahead now. The launch tower strongback is now moving away from Falcon 9, allowing it to stand freely before liftoff. And again, the strongback is designed to transport, raise, and support Falcon 9 at the launch pad. Okay, and there we can see that the strongback has now fully reclined.
At T-minus 3 minutes and 17 seconds, all systems are currently a go for an on-time liftoff. Rideshare missions like today's significantly increase access to space for small satellite operators around the world, and we're excited to be able to offer these launch opportunities for SpaceX customers. In addition to helping drive down the cost of access to space by flying reusable vehicles,
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
And there is confirmation of Stage 1 LOX load complete, so liquid oxygen loading for the first stage has finished, finalizing propellant loading for the booster. So in addition to helping drive down the cost of access to space by flying reusable vehicles, dedicated rideshare flights provide small satellite operators competitive pricing, increased flight opportunities, and flexibility.
There are all types of spacecraft on these missions, everything from payloads for the US government, to constellation deployments, to technology demonstrators, to re-entry vehicles. We have also seen several countries launch their first spacecraft ever on board transporter missions, many student efforts, and even a father-daughter CubeSat project.
For more information on SpaceX's rideshare program, visit spacex.com/rideshare. And at this point, we're waiting for the Stage 2 LOX load complete callout.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
So there we heard confirmation of stage 2 LOX load complete. So liquid oxygen for the second stage is now fully loaded, completing prop load for the upper stage.
Ground gas closeouts.
So we just heard the call out that gas closeouts has started, and that refers to venting and closing out gaseous systems, such as topping off tanks and sealing vents to maintain pressure. We're standing by now for confirmation that Falcon 9 is in startup at the T-1 minute mark.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
So at this point, the autonomous flight computers have taken over the countdown, and stages 1 and 2 are pressurizing for launch.
LD is go for launch.
And with that, all systems are go for launch of Transporter 17.
"30 seconds. "15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignite. Engines full power. And liftoff of Transporter 17. Go SpaceX, go Falcon.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
We are now 30 seconds into flight, and Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base. Falcon 9 is currently throttling down to prepare for max Q, which is the point of maximum aerodynamic
Power and
stresses
telemetry nominal.
on the vehicle. Max Q is reached when the air density of the atmosphere decreases faster than the increasing speed
Falcon
of
9 is supersonic.
And at this point, we are waiting for the call out for max Q.
Max Q.
And sounds like we just reached max Q, which again is when the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of aerodynamic stress. Merlin engines are back at full power and we're out of the throttle bucket. From here on, even though velocity is rapidly increasing, the atmospheric density is decreasing, resulting in less loads overall on Falcon 9.
I'm back chill.
There are several events coming up in quick succession, starting with MECO, stage separation, and second engine start, or SES-1. Main engine cutoff, or MECO, is where all 9 Merlin 1D engines shut down to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation, and this is where the first stage separates from the second stage. Next, the MVAC engine on the second stage will light, which is called out as second engine start 1, or SES-1. This engine burn, lasting several minutes, will propel the second stage and our payloads to orbit. After that, the fairing will jettison from the second stage as it's no longer needed to protect the payloads once we're in space. We should be hearing the first of these callouts in just a few seconds from now.
Nico.
Stage separation confirmed.
I'm back startup.
And there you heard and saw those 3 events that happened back to back, including main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start 1.
Coming up next will be fairing separation in a few moments from now.
The vehicles are following nominal trajectories. Fairing separation confirmed.
And there we just heard confirmation of fairing separation, along with a great view of those halves separating from the vehicle on your screen. And as a reminder, those fairings are going to make their way back to Earth for recovery. Now, the next major milestone coming up is entry burn on the Falcon 9 first stage, which is scheduled to occur at the T+6 minute mark. The entry burn is used to slow the first stage down as it heads back towards our drone ship. Of course, I still love you.
Falcon 9 is currently in its first MVAC burn, which should last for another few minutes. The next milestone will be the first stage entry burn, coming up here in just about 2 minutes. Today, Falcon 9 is performing 2 total burns in order to land. The first burn, known as the entry burn, slows the vehicle down before hitting the denser parts of Earth's atmosphere. Without this burn, Falcon 9 would only be using the atmospheric drag to slow down, which would add extra stress to the vehicle. Following entry burn, the booster will initiate a landing burn to slow the vehicle down even further for a successful landing.
When Falcon 9 fires up for re-entry, the vehicle will be flying through Merlin's exhaust gases, which is also known as the rocket's plume, which deposits a layer of soot on the vehicle surface. And you'll see these marks across the flight-proven Falcon 9 first stage fleet. And that soot comes from the carbon-based fuel that Falcon 9 uses. And with each flight, the soot builds up a little bit more on the outside of the vehicle. And the first stage today, supporting today's mission, will be making its 11th flight. So you can see earlier some of that soot build up on the outside. And it had previously launched Sentinel-6B, Twilight, NROL-172, and 7 Starlink missions.
Falcon 9 is now about a minute away from the start of the entry burn on the first stage. You can check out the telemetry on the bottom of your screen and see that the second stage is still picking up speed and heading to its destined orbit. We have a great view here of that MVAC engine. Falcon 9 is also equipped with 4 hypersonic titanium grid fins positioned near the top of the first stage that help steer it as it returns to Earth. You might also spot those white puffs from time to time coming off of the booster, which is cold nitrogen gas helping with attitude control.
Now at this point, we are moments away from the beginning of the entry burn, and you should see the graphics light up when the engines do on the bottom of your screen.
Stage 1, entry burn startup.
Stage 1 FTS is safe.
And there's the call out for the entry burn startup on the Falcon 9 first stage. Now this burn is set to last about 24 seconds and again is slowing the vehicle down in preparation for its final burn and landing.
Stage 1, entry burn shutdown.
And that concludes our entry burn.
As mentioned earlier, we will be attempting to recover this booster. Today, the booster is targeting a landing on the drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. You can follow along with the burn in the engine graphic at the bottom of your screen. As this burn happens, you'll notice a decrease in both speed and altitude. And during the landing burn, we are expecting a shutdown of the second stage MVAC engine. This is known as Second Engine Cutoff 1 or SECO 1. We have both events coming up here in just about a minute.
Now we are about 40 seconds away from the beginning of the landing burn, and this is the final burn of the Falcon 9 first stage, and it's used to reduce the remaining speed of the vehicle for a gentle and precise
Stage 1 transonic.
landing on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. The first stage is also equipped with 4 landing legs made of carbon fiber with aluminum honeycomb.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
And as Falcon 9 descends towards the drone ship, keep an eye out for the first stage landing legs, which will deploy just prior to touchdown.
Stage 2 FTS is safe.
Stage 1 landing burn.
And there we heard the call out for the landing burn start for the Falcon 9 first stage. Again, this is the final burn that this booster will execute before touching down.
Stage 1, landing leg deploy. Stage 1, landing confirmed.
And as we
Nominal orbit insertion.
as we saw and heard, a successful first stage landing.
And over on the second stage, confirmation of a successful cutoff of the MVAC engine, and we also heard the call out for good orbit. Coming up next is the second burn of the MVAC engine on board the second stage, or SES.